Hey Collective, welcome back. I hope you're having a good day today. So do you ever feel like you're playing a game, but you don't quite know the rules? Like you're constantly hitting invisible walls, stuck in the same frustrating loops, watching your biggest goals always stay just out of reach? You work harder, you push more, but you just can't seem to get ahead. I know. It's easy to feel that way these days. And no, it's not bad luck. There's a set of rules, an ancient set of rules, for reality that most of us were never taught. For me, I've just instinctively always known or felt guided to live my life a certain way. Like these rules or laws were tattooed on the inside of me before I was ever even born. And honestly, like I didn't have a choice. But even though others don't always understand, it's got me out of and through some really tough situations in my life. Once you really understand these laws, you can shift from a life of frustration to one that feels like you're finally in the flow. This is the story of the 12 universal laws that can rewire how you see the world. And no, this isn't just positive thinking. It's about understanding the physics of reality. The second you grasp these laws, everything starts to change. Not because the world magically changes around you, but because you do. The first and most important law is the law of divine oneness. At its heart, it's the simple idea that everything is connected. Every person, every thought, every single atom is all part of one giant unified field of energy. That feeling of being separate from the world, it's an illusion. Which is why I will never understand racism, ageism, sexism, classism, any ism, or phobia, neurodivergent, neurotypical, or any box that anybody wants to categorize a human into. It's like this. Think of an ocean. You can scoop a cup of water out of it. That water in that cup might feel separate and contained, but it's never not ocean. It's made of the exact same stuff. You are that cup of water. We all are. Forgetting this, or whatever you're out here doing, is where loneliness and isolation comes from. It's that painful feeling of being separate from the love, success, or abundance you want. When you get this law, that feeling of separation starts to dissolve. The success you want isn't being held back from you. It's part of the same energy field you're already in. So here's what you can do. Start practicing seeing this connection every single day. When you talk to or about someone, remind yourself we're made of the same stuff. When you're out in nature, see it not as something separate from you, but as another part of you. This one shift will raise your vibration by rewiring that feeling of not enough into a deep sense of wholeness. The second law, and my channel's namesake, in case you didn't know, clicks right into the first, the law of vibration. This law says that everything in the universe is constantly moving. Nothing rests. It's all vibrating at a unique frequency. Nothing is really solid. As quantum physics shows us, what looks like solid matter is just energy vibrating at a certain speed. Here's the kicker, and I talk about this a lot. Your thoughts and feelings have their own vibrational frequency. Joy vibrates really high and fast. Fear and doubt vibrate low and slow. Your personal frequency is like a radio dial, and it determines which reality you tune into. You can't listen to a rock station at 105.5 FM if your dial is set to a news station at 92.3 FM. You with me? In the same way, you can't experience a life of joy and abundance if your energy is constantly tuned to scarcity and worry. This solves that awful feeling of being a victim to your own emotions. The next time you feel that flash of road rage or a wave of anxiety, you can recognize it for what it is. Just an energy vibration. The promise here is that you control the dial. You can consciously choose to raise your vibration. Start by removing anyone or anything toxic that keeps it low. And then try this. Find one thing that always makes you feel good. A specific song, a walk outside, a funny video, and use it strategically when you start to feel your energy dip. You're not ignoring the bad feelings. You're just introducing a higher frequency to change the channel. The third law is the law of correspondence, famously summed up in the old saying, as above, so below, as within, so without. Basically, your outer world is just a mirror of your inner world. The life you see around you is a direct reflection of your dominant thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. And yes, this applies no matter how fake you act on the outside. The universe still knows your true heart and intentions. And if you say I love you out loud, but in your head you're saying die bitch die, wishing people to fail, being hateful, jealous, envious, malicious, abusive, competitive, whatever, that will still be your personal frequency, no matter how good you think you are at playing the game. Think of your mind as a movie projector, and the world is your screen. If the film you're playing is a story of struggle and frustration and oh God, poor me, that's the movie that will show up in your life. You can't change the movie by yelling at the screen, right? You have to change the film itself. So many of us spend our lives trying to rearrange the pixels on the screen, wondering why the same story keeps playing over and over again. And this is why we feel trapped in those repeating negative patterns we just can't seem to shake. The good news: you have the power to change the film. When you clear out the clutter in your mind, your outer life starts to feel less chaotic. When you release toxic people, places, and things that distract, block, or sabotage you, your outer life feels less blocked. When you cultivate peace inside, you attract more peaceful situations outside. Here's the challenge. For just one whole day, pay attention to your internal monologue. What are the top 3 negative thoughts on repeat? Just notice them. Don't judge them. Awareness is the first step to swapping out the old film for a new one. This brings us to the most famous law of them all, the law of attraction. A lot of people have heard of it, but a lot of people get it wrong. The principle is simple. Like attracts like. Whatever you give your energy and focus to is what you pull into your life. But, and this is a big but, it's not just about thinking happy thoughts. Personally, I believe none of these laws work singularly. They have to be practiced together because they all work hand in hand. This law goes hand in hand with the law of vibration. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. And more specifically, you attract what you subconsciously believe you deserve. It's like trying to pick up a block of wood with a magnet. It's never going to work because they're not a magnetic match. Saying I'm wealthy 1,000 times is useless if your deep down core belief is I'm not worthy of money. You're still broadcasting a frequency of lack, and so lack is what you'll get. This is why so many try manifestation and fail, call it woo-woo witchy shit, or say that it doesn't work. No. Your words and your energy just aren't aligned. You have to fix your fucked up, outdated beliefs, and you have to align your beliefs with your desires. Then you become a magnet for them. The legend Mike Jack sang it the best. You have to start with the man in the mirror and ask him to change his ways. Because how you think, act, and feel, that emotional energy is an incredibly powerful broadcast to the universe, and they're always listening. The 5th law is the crucial link between your inner and outer worlds, the law of inspired action. This is for those of you who want to talk, but you don't want to do. This law says that you have to actively do something to bring your dreams to reality. Thinking about it, Running your mouth about it isn't enough. Action is what closes the gap between your imagination and your life. A lot of people think the law of attraction means you can just sit on the couch, visualize $1 million, and it will just poof, show up in your bank account. But that's like an architect drawing up a beautiful blueprint for a house and expecting the house to build itself. The blueprint is essential, but at some point, somebody has to pour the foundation and put up the damn walls. Action is the construction crew for your dreams. This is for anyone who feels stuck or trapped in a fantasy world with no real progress to show for it. It's called co-creation with the universe because the universe loves to meet action halfway. When you take a step, the next step on the path appears. I'm not talking about frantic, desperate hustling. I'm talking about inspired action, the kind that feels right and intuitive. It's that sudden urge to call an old friend who just so happens to have a job lead for you. It's that random impulse to sign up for a class where you end up meeting your future business partner. Your job is to ask, what's one small aligned step I can take today? It doesn't have to be a huge leap. It just has to be movement. Next up, my personal favorite, the law of cause and effect, or karma. The idea is that every single action, thought, and word creates a ripple that eventually comes back to you. Nothing happens by accident. No one is bigger than the program. No one is exempt. Every effect in your life has a cause that you set in motion. It's like planting a garden. If you plant tomato seeds, you get tomatoes. You'll never, ever get cucumbers. You reap what you sow. If you plant seeds of love, generosity, and kindness, that's the harvest you'll get back. If you plant rotten seeds of anger, resentment, or revenge, well, then your life's garden will be rotten. This is why it can feel like you're just a victim of bad luck or like the world is against you, without realizing that today's problems are often the harvest from the rotten seeds you planted a long time ago. This law is here to teach you personal responsibility, and thank God for it. Otherwise, certain people would never learn a fucking lesson. You are the gardener of your life, so start practicing mindful planting. Before you speak or act, just take a tiny pause and ask yourself, is this a seed I want to plant? Is this the effect I want to create? That simple pause can completely change the harvest you get down the road. So friends, be careful who you let influence you, who you choose to follow, because you may be following them straight into a karmic trap you can't easily get yourself out of. Blocked love, blocked money, blocked stability, blocked forward movement, also known as spiritual jail. Now, if this is hitting home for you and you're getting some value out of it, hit like and subscribe for me so I can help you get out of the passenger seat of your own life and into the driver's seat. Coming in at number 7 is the law of compensation, which flows right from cause and effect. It states that you will always be compensated for your efforts and contributions. Always. The universe is a system of perfect balance. What you give, you get back. And for a Libra stellium, the sign of justice, this law makes my heart smile. Imagine a universal bank account. Every time you add value to someone's life, whether they believe you do or don't, every time you help someone without expecting anything in return, or put genuine heart into your work, you're making a deposit. The thing is, the universe doesn't always pay you back in the same currency. You might give your time to help a friend move, a deposit of kindness, and a week later get an unexpected job offer out of the blue, a withdrawal of opportunity. The pain comes from giving with strings attached. When you give only to get, your energy is screaming, lack. and that actually blocks the compensation from coming back to you. The promise is that no good effort goes to waste. The universe keeps perfect books. Trust. The best way to use this law is to shift your focus from getting to giving. Ask yourself, how can I add more value to today? How can I be of service? Give with joy and let it go. Another favorite of mine is our number 8, the law of transmutation. It means that energy is always moving and can be changed from one form to another. And here's the best part. Higher vibrations will always overcome and transform lower ones. Think of it like the light will always expose the dark. You walk into a pitch black room. If you light one tiny candle, the darkness doesn't swallow the light. The light transforms the darkness. This is the law of my light irritates your demons. One positive thought, one act of courage, or one moment of genuine love can begin to transform dense energies like fear, despair, anger, or hate. This law is the ultimate cure for feeling permanently stuck. Stuck in a bad job, a toxic relationship, or a negative mindset. No condition is permanent because energy is always in motion. Nothing rests. You have the power to be an alchemist in your own life. A simple, powerful way to use this law is when you feel stuck or heavy. Physically move your energy. Stand up, open a window, put on some high-energy music, or just jump up and down for 30 seconds. It sounds silly, but that physical shift kicks off an energetic one. It reminds you that you're not a rock, you're a river. The 9th law is the law of relativity, and it's a game changer. It teaches us that nothing in life has meaning, except the meaning we give it. Everything is neutral until we compare it to something else. A big challenge is only a challenge relative to your goal. A failure is only a failure relative to your definition of success. To someone who's been homeless, a tiny studio apartment is a palace. But to someone moving out of a mansion, that same apartment could feel like a prison. The apartment itself is neutral. Its meaning is created by perspective. We cause ourselves so much pain by labeling things as good or bad, when in reality, they just are. The promise of this law is the freedom to reframe anything. Every single situation is a lesson in disguise. So take one problem in your life right now and ask a different question. What could this be teaching me? How could this be serving my growth? That simple question shifts you from being a victim of your circumstances to being a student of them. And that's where you get your power back. Number 10 is the law of polarity. This law states that everything has an opposite, but those opposites are actually just two sides of the same coin. Hot and cold aren't two different things. They're just different degrees of temperature. Light and dark are just two poles of the same spectrum. It's the same with our emotions. Success and failure, joy and sadness. They aren't separate realities. They're two poles on the same continuum. You can't truly appreciate success if you've never experienced failure. And you can't fully know joy without the contrast of sadness. We get into trouble when we try to live a life of only good vibes. It's impossible. And fighting the bad just creates more resistance. By understanding this, you can learn to consciously shift your focus. When you're feeling a negative pole, like fear, you know its opposite is courage. It exists at the same time on the other end of the spectrum. So try this. When you feel fear, acknowledge it. Then deliberately focus your thoughts on what courage would feel like in the same situation. It doesn't make fear vanish, but it activates the other pole and gives you the power to choose where you put your attention. All right, 2 more to go. The 11th law is the law of rhythm. This law reminds us that everything in life moves in cycles and seasons. The tide comes in and the tide goes out. Night follows day. Winter always turns to spring. Life isn't a flat line. It's a dynamic, rhythmic cycle. We all have these rhythms in our own lives. Sometimes you're in a season of high energy, massive creativity, and social expansion. Other times, you're in a season of rest, quiet reflection, and consolidation. We suffer when we fight these natural rhythms. We try to be on and productive 100% of the time, and then we beat ourselves up when we hit a natural winter period of low energy. We try to swim against the tide, and we just end up exhausted. The secret is to learn to work with the rhythms of your life. If you're in a low energy phase, don't force it. Use that time to rest, plan, and recharge. Trust that this winter is not only necessary, but it's preparing you for an incredible spring. The tide always comes back in. And finally, the 12th law, the law of gender. Now, this has zero to do with physical gender. It says that everything in the universe contains both masculine, yang, and feminine, yin, energies. And that for anything to be created, you need a balance of both. You've heard me speak on this in other videos and on this channel multiple times, but just to recap, the masculine energy is the energy of doing, action, logic, and pushing forward. Think of it as the seed, obviously. The feminine energy is the energy of being, intuition, nurturing, and allowing. This is the fertile soil. And a seed is useless without soil to grow in. And soil can't produce anything without a seed being planted. We run into big problems when these energies are out of balance. So many of us are trapped in a hyper-masculine hustle culture, taking action 24/7 with no rest, leading to burnout. Others are stuck in a purely feminine dreamer energy, visualizing all day but never taking the action to actually plant the seed. They just want to take. True creation, whether you're building a business, a relationship, or just a new you, is born from the dance between these two energies. Take a look at your own life. Are you all action and no intuition? Or all dreams and no doing? Make an effort to cultivate the energy you've been neglecting. If you're always doing, schedule time to just be. If you're always dreaming, commit to one small concrete action. This balance is the final key to creating with ease. These 12 laws aren't just a feel-good idea. They're an operating system of reality. They've been taught for thousands of years in ancient wisdom traditions, from Hermetic philosophy to Hawaiian spiritual practices. Understanding them is like finally getting the instruction manual for life, and not a single soul on this planet is above them. They allow you to stop fighting the current and learn to flow with it. You realize you're not a victim of your life, but a co-creator with the universe. Your brain literally starts to form new pathways away from limitation and toward conscious empowerment. The journey starts right now. Pick one law that stood out to you. Apply its simple action step this week and watch what starts to shift. Don't just learn this stuff. Live it. Because you're not just living in the universe. The universe lives in you. Until next time, friends, keep healing. See ya.